My name is Sarah, and I have an identical twin sister, Emily. To the outside world, we were a unit, two halves of a whole. But in reality, she was the sun, and I was her shadow. Emily was the adventurous, charismatic one who charmed everyone she met. I was the quiet, studious one, happy to live in the background. We had a secret weapon, of course, our identical faces. We'd used it for harmless pranks in high school, switching classes, fooling teachers. It was our special game. I never imagined that one day we would use it to play with a human heart. It started when Emily met Jake. He was perfect, a kind, handsome law student who was instantly captivated by her. After their first date, she came home breathless, convinced he was the one. The problem was their second date. It was scheduled for the same night as her most important final exam of the semester. "You have to go for me, Sarah," she begged, her eyes wide with panic. "Just this once. I can't cancel on him now. He'll lose interest. It's just like our old game." I was terrified, but I couldn't say no to her. So I went. And it was a disaster, a wonderful, terrible disaster. I was supposed to be Emily, the life of the party, but I couldn't pretend. We talked for hours, not about parties or gossip, but about books, about our dreams, about things Emily would have found boring. I connected with Jake on a level that was deeper than any prank. He was drawn to my quiet nature, a side of his new girlfriend he hadn't seen yet. When I came home that night, my heart was a mess of guilt and exhilaration. The game had worked too well. Jake called the next day, telling Emily how much he loved her, thoughtful, deeper side. And so the real deception began. We made a pact. Emily would handle the fun dates, parties, concerts, meeting his friends. I would handle the serious ones, quiet dinners, study sessions, coffee dates. Together, we reasoned, we were the perfect woman. Emily's sparkle and my substance. We told ourselves we weren't lying to him. We were giving him the best version of his girlfriend. For months, our deception worked like a well-oiled machine. We lived in a constant state of information sharing. He mentioned his favorite author is Murakami. That's your territory. Emily would tell me. He's going to a football game next week, so wear the jersey I bought. I'd instruct her. We were two actresses playing the same role, and the applause Jake's affection was intoxicating. But for me, the lines began to blur. The dates I went on didn't feel like a game. They felt real. I was falling in love with Jake, with the way he listened, the way his eyes lit up when we discussed a difficult legal case. I found myself feeling a sharp pang of jealousy when Emily would come home, giddy from a party with him, smelling of his cologne. I was the one who knew his fears and his dreams, but she was the one who got to hold his hand in public. Jake, caught in the middle, was understandably confused. "You're the most fascinating woman I've ever met," he told me as Emily one afternoon. "One day you're the life of the party, and the next you're this quiet soul who just wants to talk about poetry. It's like you're two different people." I had to force a laugh, my heart sinking like a stone. He was closer to the truth than he could ever imagine. The game started to unravel. The constant lying was exhausting. We had close calls. I'd forget a detail from a party Emily had attended, or she wouldn't know the name of a professor I had discussed with him for an hour. We started fighting, our sisterly bond straining under the weight of the secret. She accused me of being jealous. I accused her of being reckless. We were no longer a team. We were two rivals in a silent war for a man who didn't even know he was the prize. The moment it all became real was on a quiet Tuesday evening. We were sitting by the lake, a date that was firmly in my territory. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. He turned to me, his expression serious and full of a love that was so genuine it broke my heart. "Emily," he said, taking my hand, "I love you." He said it to me, to Sarah. And in that perfect, terrible moment, I knew the game was over. This wasn't a prank anymore. This was a man's heart, and we were breaking it. Jake's declaration of love was a death knell for our game. I went home and told Emily we had to stop. I can't do this anymore, I said, my voice shaking. He loves a woman who doesn't exist. We have to tell him the truth. Emily was furious. No, you'll ruin everything, she cried. He loves me. He just loves the part of you I let him borrow. The argument was vicious, the ugliest we'd ever had, but I was resolute. I couldn't live with the lie a moment longer. I called Jake and asked him to meet me at our usual coffee shop. My plan was to confess everything, to take the blame, and to walk away, hoping he and Emily could somehow salvage a relationship from the wreckage. But when I arrived, Emily was already there, waiting outside. I'm not letting you do this alone, she said, her face pale but determined. We went in together. Jake was sitting at our table, smiling when he saw us. His smile faded as he saw the look on our faces. We sat down, and before I could even begin my rehearsed speech, the truth came out in a torrent of overlapping confessions and accusations between me and my sister. We watched as Jake's face went through a kaleidoscope of emotions, confusion, then dawning comprehension, then disbelief, and finally a cold, quiet fury that was far more terrifying than shouting. He didn't raise his voice. He just stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. So that's it, he said, his voice hollow. All this time, it was never one person. It was a committee. He looked from my face to Emily's, our identical features now a grotesque symbol of our deceit. I don't know either of you, he said with a chilling finality. And I never want to see either of you again. He turned and walked out, leaving me and my sister sitting in the ruins of the life we had stolen. That was the last time we ever saw him. He was gone. But the real casualty was us. The game we had played hadn't just cost us a man, it had cost us each other. The bond between us, the one thing I thought was unbreakable, was now poisoned with mistrust and resentment. We had been two halves of a whole, but in our selfish attempt to be the perfect woman, we had shattered ourselves and each other into a million lonely pieces.